Tony Stark is the reason we have a Marvel Cinematic Universe. His suits of armor are some of the most impressive pieces of technology in the entire MCU. Each successive suit was made with improvements over the previous designs, and I think that these 7 suits, are perhaps the most powerful ones in the entire MCU. 7. The Mark 47. By the time Tony constructed his Mark 47 armor, he had nearly perfected his design. He was mainly interested in improving it in unique ways. The Mark 47 is the armor he wore in Spider-Man Homecoming, and it demonstrated several impressive abilities, chief of which is definitely remote piloting. When Spider-Man found himself overwhelmed fighting the Vulture, Tony swooped in to save the young hero, and he revealed that he wasn't even inside the armor, saying, "Thank God this place has Wi-Fi, or you could be toast right now." Tony was probably kidding, seeing as he owns a fleet of satellites. Still, the revelation that he could remotely pilot his suit so effectively fooled Peter Parker into believing he was inside, which is impressive considering Parker's spider sensibility. Stark also wore the suit using mini thrusters to repair the ferry. It's an impressive suit of armor to say the least. Now, I know you'll probably say, well, this wasn't the first time we saw this capability because we saw it in Iron Man 3, to which I'll say, you're right, but the Mark 47 really improved on it a lot. 6. Hulkbuster. Tony debuted his Mark 44 armor, otherwise known as the Hulkbuster, in the Avengers Age of Ultron. The suit is best known as the Hulkbuster armor because it was designed for one purpose and one purpose only, to stop the Hulk whenever he was in mid-rampage. Now, unfortunately for Banner, it became necessary when the Hulk rampaged throughout Johannesburg. The Hulkbuster armor is modular, meaning it comes in several pieces that fly and attach to whichever suit of armor Tony is wearing at the time, and in that movie he was sporting the Mark 43. Each piece was actually powered by a separate arc reactor too. The Hulkbuster armor was deployed from an orbital platform dubbed Veronica, and it could land the various armor pieces at Tony's location anywhere in the world on a moment's notice. Ultimately, the armor proved effective, and most impressively, Stark was able to knock out Hulk while wearing the armor, something we wouldn't see again until Hulk's fight with Thanos aboard the Statesman. 5. Tony created the Mark 45 armor sometime after the Battle of Sokovia and the signing of the Sokovia Accords. It incorporated several advancements over his prior designs, including multiple miniature arc reactors and a collapsible helmet. Now, this design was sleeker and more form-fitting than the previous suits. Tony wore this armor throughout the events of Captain America Civil War, so it was battle-tested against many of the world's mightiest heroes, including Falcon, Ant-Man, and Giant Man, Hawkeye, the Winter Soldier, Scarlet Witch, and of course Captain America. Ultimately, the suit was defeated when Cap slammed his shield down into the central arc reactor, rendering the armor inert. Despite its destruction, it held up to a great deal of punishment and gave Tony a great deal of power in return, which was unfortunately for the other Avengers directed at them throughout the movie. 4. Hulkbuster 2.0. Tony's Mark 48 armor is probably best known as the Hulkbuster 2.0. The armor was initially designed to contain the Hulk like the Mark 44, but it was modified significantly for the Battle of Wakanda. Instead of housing Tony within his own suit of armor, the Mark 48 was designed to house a single occupant Sans armor. In Avengers Infinity War, the armor wasn't about containing the Hulk, as it literally contained Bruce Banner. This was when Bruce and Hulk were having somewhat of a disagreement, leaving Banner to enter the fray without his superpowered alter ego. While inside the armor, Bruce was able to fight against Thanos' forces in a way he would never be able to without the Hulkbuster 2.0. The armor had several improvements over its predecessor, but Bruce had trouble operating it at first. Eventually he figured it out and even managed to slam Thanos down to the ground with a blow to his face. 3. Mark 49. While Tony's suits are pretty much always designed solely for his use, the Mark 49 was intended for Pepper Potts. Known as the Rescue Armor, Tony created the suit for Pepper without telling her, but his daughter Morgan let the cat out of the bag when she found the helmet in the garage. When Doctor Strange recruited people for the Battle of Earth, he brought her to the fight, and she came donning the Rescue Armor. The suit was equipped with the same weapons and onboard systems Tony put into all of his Iron Man suits, but there were some key differences. One of the Rescue Armor's most remarkable abilities was the automatic deployment of autonomous energy displacer sentries. Now, these could deploy and fire off blasts of repulsor energy at any threats posed to Pepper. This gave Pepper a huge benefit to her defensive capabilities, making her a lethal combatant on the battlefield. 2. Mark 50. The Mark 50 armor was a turning point in Tony's design specifications, as it didn't rely on solid armor plating or integrated circuitry. Instead, Tony designed his armor using nanotechnology, which was contained in an arc reactor-powered chest piece he wore. After activating the chest piece, the nanobots flowed across his body, forming into a suit of armor that was far sleeker and more aesthetically pleasing than any he wore before. With the nanotechnology came significant enhancements to his defensive and offensive capabilities. Stark could manipulate the nanites to materialize various objects around him, including massive repulsor cannons, shields, battering rams, stabbing weapons, and much more. It even came equipped with the nanite spray, which covered wounds with a cryogenic liquid, aiding in healing. When it was created, it was Tony's most advanced suit. 1. The Mark 85. After the heroes lost at the Battle of Wakanda, Tony was left to work for 5 years on something better than what he fought the Mad Titan in years earlier. He came up with the Mark 85 suit, which was his best and most advanced suit of armor ever. The Mark 85 was the strongest and most durable armor Stark ever created. It came with every possible weapon and defensive system he could think of. It was created using nanotechnology, but was far more advanced than the Mark 50, and presumably more than Marks 51 to 84, which didn't appear in the MCU. The most significant achievement made using the suit was that Tony could manipulate the nanites to grab the Infinity Stones from Thanos' gauntlet. The armor's durability kept Tony alive long enough to do something with them. They formed around his fist, making it possible for Tony to snap away all of Thanos' forces.